Hello everyone and welcome to episode 24 of the Curios cast.
So I tried a pickled onion, boys.
Oh, did you?
After a few weeks ago, we were talking about pickled onions, and I said I hadn't had one, and you both told me to fuck off because I've never had a pickled onion. So
was it a big boy or was it a little silver skin?
Little silver skin? And it was funny because obviously we mentioned it on the podcast, and I was talking to Rosie about that I'd never had one. She said, "Oh, you've got to, like, next time you go shopping, get one." Went shopping and I forgot.
just one.
Just get a jar of pickled onions, and I completely forgot. And came home and I remember thinking, oh, I should have got some pickled onions to try. I opened the cupboard and they were sitting there. Like, there was pickled onions already in the cupboard that were not there a couple of weeks ago. And it turns out that when my mum was here, she bought pickled onions and they were left in the cupboard. So full jar pretty much. So I just grabbed the full, picked one out, gave it a little jab. It was all right. Nothing amazing. I'd had pickles before. I've had like gherkins, so I knew the taste of pickle. Obviously,
I'd say it's more intense than a gherkin.
Huh?
I'd say it's more intense than a gherkin.
It is.
You've
more
also
intense.
got the fact that you're eating an onion.
It somehow holds the pickle juice better than like the gherkin does, like a cucumber.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
I think just because it's also just an item of savagery that, in general, like if you ate that on its own. Whereas, what actually is a pickle before it's pickled?
Cucumber.
Gherkin.
Is it actually? Is it really a cucumber though?
I think so.
Well, cornichon.
Cornichon. I was going to say, but is that just?
It's just a little cucumber.
Is that French for gherkin?
Right.
That might be French for
I
gherkin.
think that's French for gherkin.
But when
it's just a cucumber anyway.
Yeah,
so cucumbers are not pickly or hard to eat.
Yeah, and I've had gherkins before where you bite into it and you get the juice and stuff, but mostly I feel like the juice is pretty well contained to the gherkin. Whereas when I bit into this silver skin pickled onion, as you bite down and the layers kind of like open up and it separates, it's almost like every layer has another gush of pickle juice inside it. It's like you're breaking the dam, and it's flooding your mouth, and it like shot to the back of my throat, and I wasn't too shocked by it because I knew the taste. But it was
just wait till you try one of those big old fuckers from the fish and chip shop.
Them ones, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I need to. Yeah, I'll need
blow
to
your mind.
Experiment with that as well. But
this is good. I can picture it. It's very descriptive. I can imagine it in my mouth now. And I'm like, what I like about it is when I ate like 3 in a row, and I almost can't talk afterwards. I'm like,
it was intense. I was like, I feel like it is definitely an accompaniment. Like, you're not. I'm sure there are people that sit and just bang out some pickled onions, but
yeah, I do.
I'm happy now to have pickled onions with a spread. Like you said, you have your little cocktail sausages and
I'm on a cheese board. That and I used to love it out of the pub. Cheese board, you get a little basket of cheese, pickled onions, and you eat them all in one go.
Yeah, I do quite often.
MasterChef
it's like a little snack in the house. I don't snack too often, but when I do, I'll have like cheese and crackers is like a good thing. Just get some like sea salt and pepper crackers.
Yeah,
whack some cheddar on it, and then maybe I'll add the silver skin pickled onions to that as well.
Make sure you do, cunt. There's a pub. There's one of the pubs near me that sell. It's not nice actually. They sell because they call it it's a ploughman's, isn't it? Where you get cheese, pickle.
Is it? You're going to say where you get it in a little bag?
Yeah, you get it in a fucking bag, and it is not great.
You get it at the White Lion. I don't know if you still can.
Yeah, I could imagine it being a White Lion.
One solo silver skin.
It is like one onion. Yeah, the Swan did it. The White Lion's delicacy now is they have the same as the Rising Sun. They have the poppadoms with that mix.
Mate, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
Chutney.
And you don't get it anywhere else. It only exists in those pubs. Like, why is that? They have a different, it's like that fucking certain fruit juice can you can only get in kebab shops.
Oh, like KA.
Yeah,
corner shops as well.
Yeah.
Mirinda. They only have them in chicken shops, I'm pretty sure.
Mirinda, yeah.
Mirinda
that's the
only
one I was
exists in chicken shops.
Yeah. Or like Rubicon.
Yeah.
Rubicon's good. I don't think you can get pickled onions here in Holland. That's going to be something I'm going to struggle with.
That seems like quite a British thing, doesn't it?
Move back, mate.
Yeah, it is quite a British
shit.
thing.
It does seem quite British, yeah.
I'll have to start pickling my own. I did make my own pickled onions actually a couple of years ago from the allotment.
Yeah. You did tell us this on the previous podcast, but you didn't.
Oh, did I?
You didn't say that our onions you grew. I don't think. I'm even more excited.
They were shallots, so pickled shallots.
Oh.
Is the silver skin onion, are they pickled shallots? No.
Not too sure. I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe they're like a really specific type of onion.
Next week on Gardener's Question Time.
Let's move on.
Well,
from,
last time I looked up something to do with the garden, I got completely lambasted because you told me that I was completely wrong.
You was
about,
fucking wrong.
Marrows,
marrows and courgettes, right?
Yeah.
Bullshit. There's no way. I can't remember what side of the argument I was on now, but whatever side that was. Bullshit.
I can't remember what was right, but Tom came back with a shit that we said last week, or whatever we called it.
Yeah.
Was we chatting shit
last week, yeah.
Yeah, last time.
Of course we were chatting shit last week.
Yeah, it's just a given. The answer's always yes.
Yeah, the answer was yes. I'll go last this time, I think, because I went first last week.
George, you want to go? Have you got something?
I've got something. News? Yeah, I've got a couple of somethings, some things. So one thing I wanted to speak about was a man in China getting caught attempting to smuggle his pet tortoise onto a plane by disguising it as a KFC burger.
That's so good.
There was actually two. I found this twice. One, it happened in 2013, and one, it happened in 2016.
So it actually happened twice.
Two separate. Sorry.
So a lot of like this happened twice.
Is it the same guy?
I don't know. I couldn't, because they both happened in China, but one of them said his name and one of them didn't say the name. One says it was a KFC burger and one just says it was a fast food bun. So whether that is two separate times or whether the same story's just being recycled, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, or one was a copycat smuggler.
Yeah, he read about it. He got the idea. It's a good idea.
Like, yeah, I really want to take my turtle, and he was like googling it and saying any ideas, and then he came up
and he found someone who tried something that didn't work. So he tried it, and it also didn't work.
I was about to say we don't know that it didn't work yet, but there probably wouldn't be an article about it.
No,
yeah, he got caught. I mean, I think it's quite a good idea, really. So he bought a KFC burger, took out the chicken and the filling and stuff, and then put his tortoise inside it, and then wrapped it back up inside the paper that you get a burger with. And then he tried to go through security, but he was only caught because the X-ray scanner picked up like its legs poking out of the side of the But
surely it'd pick up like the skeleton of a tortoise, right?
It just
it's not like it's going to just pick up a bun.
Well, that's what it sounds like here. It just says staff began to get suspicious when the X-ray scanner picked up on protrusions coming from the burger that looked remarkably like turtle limbs.
Even if the limbs were inside, they still come out on an X-ray. That's ridiculous.
Maybe they don't. Maybe the shell looks like a bun. Maybe the shell is where the X-ray stops.
I've seen X-rays of tortoises, and they do have.
It's a different kind of X-ray, isn't it?
They do have spines.
If it was like if it was an X-ray, surely there's different levels of X-ray. The X-ray where they put your bags through. If it was that kind of X-ray, you'd just see the bottom of a bag, wouldn't you? Or something? Like, I don't know.
That's true.
Or you'd, I don't know. It's really stupid.
Nothing through here. No one's got anything today.
Yeah, there's got to be like levels of X-ray, surely, or. Is that more of like? Is it not? Is that not really? Is it not really an X-ray? Is it more of like a heat? No, it ain't heat, is it? But it's like a.
Yeah, I'm not a radiologist.
I think it detects different substances, doesn't it? Like, and it puts them in different colours, because you always see on there that there's things in slightly different colours, like shades of red and blue.
Yeah, well, it's like when you get an X-ray, you can still see your skin. Like you can see the outline of your flesh. And then you see the bones inside, which are obviously a lot more prominent.
Well, there's those full body scanner ones now where they see your dick and everything, isn't there?
Yeah, they can see everything.
Yeah. It saw a fart. Didn't one catch a fart or something?
I'm so going to hold in a fart next time.
So the guy did get caught. Weirdly, when he was questioned, before they even sort of said anything about a tortoise, he reportedly said when he was questioned, "There's no turtle in there, just a hamburger. There's nothing special to see inside."
Are you allowed just to take a burger on a plane?
No, that's the thing. Sure, I don't think you could take food. Can you take food through security?
If it's been bought through past customs, I guess. Why not?
No, but he got.
But then why would he have been scanning it?
Yeah, because you go through what. security is like the first thing you go through.
Not in China. In China, I went through security twice.
Ah,
I guess
true.
it's-
Actually,
and
because I
stole my
remember,
lighter.
yeah, I remember when I went. you mentioned they stole your lighter last time, but they yeah, actually that is true because when I went to Turkey, I went through security 3 times. Because I think it's Dalaman that's like a military airport, and yeah, you go through security literally at the door when you've still got all your big luggage with you and everything. Before you even drop that off, you go through security. Then you go through security after you've dropped your bags off. Then you go through literally at the gate as well. So maybe there was extra layers to stop this kind of thing from happening.
but then he must have got past the previous layers. Yeah, no, that implies he's got past the previous layers with his turtle.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah. So what?
So
What
he's gone
happened the
through
first
layer one with he's gone up with his KFC burger, and they're like, well, normal.
Yeah. So did he buy the KFC burger in the airport?
Must have done.
Doesn't say. So he's probably done it before, even trying to get into, through security. So maybe this was like at the first attempt.
Because in most airports, the food and everything is after security. Like before security, there's not much. Just bag drop.
There's not much. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. This is a mystery.
The plot thickens.
It is a mystery.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a load of shit.
It's not. It's in the Guardian and the Telegraph.
Oh, fucking hell! Actually, I'm
stand
corrected. Yeah,
it's in two.
It's not
two very, very
fairly reputable sources. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
he should have just put
it doesn't give any more details.
he could have put it in
It just says
anything.
that the tortoise was then left with one of the man's friends.
Was it to
So they
avoid
didn't-
quarantining it? I guess he didn't want to.
Yeah, I guess there's something to do with like taking animals on planes.
And was he
But, I mean,
was he
a tortoise
moving?
I would absolutely let a tortoise on a plane because it's not like a dog where it's
No, I
gonna,
don't think
Yeah.
it's with it being on the plane. It's just taking animals to other countries. I think there is like lots of paperwork and fees and stuff involved.
Yeah.
But I think that this was an internal flight in China,
Oh,
so who knows?
And was he just like, where was he going? Like, was he going? How long do you think he was going for? He really needed to take his tortoise with him. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure that like you can just get a mate to drop by once every month, probably, and like I'm sure they're pretty.
They are low maintenance.
Low maintenance.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
I also I mentioned on the last episode that my dad has chickens. He also has a tortoise as well. Yeah.
I'm jealous. I really want a tortoise. My dad always used to tell me a story when he was younger, and they'd go over to visit my grand's family in Italy. There was a tortoise so big that their family had that he just used to sit on it and ride it around. That was like one of the giant
That's
tortoises, and just ride it around in their garden.
This is when he was a
That's crazy.
37-year-old man.
That's when he was 37. Yeah, he used to go.
That's mad. So they had a proper giant tortoise.
They do get big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like Darwin. Didn't Darwin have like a tortoise that only died like a couple of years ago or something
Who?
crazy?
I think so.
Darwin, like
Darwin.
Darwin's tortoise or something, man.
But there's a couple still alive. There's one on St Helena, which is like 250 years old or something. It was alive when it was there when Napoleon was exiled in St Helena. And there's another one that died recently that was in, I think, India or somewhere or somewhere else that used to belong to like the governor of India or something. And that was like 300 years old. It was the oldest, living organism apart from trees in the world. It was just mental that one tortoise was older than like the US. As a country.
Yeah,
He
crazy,
must be
isn't it?
fed up. You see, like geezers when they're 70 years old and they're grumpy as shit and just want to die. Imagine
Yeah.
being 400 years old or whatever.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you reckon when this tortoise gets too big to fit into a KFC bun, he's gonna have to start disguising it as other foods as well, like putting it in a pizza box or something? That'd be a bit tough. But
I was trying to think
hollow out
what
an
else could-
entire loaf of bread, maybe stick it in there.
Or like Pringles. No.
Nah.
That was
What
whack.
else?
My uncle once did that when I was much younger. We went to like he took us to a Man United game, and he put a can of beer. In my head, I always remember it was 2 cans of beer. Maybe it was 2 small cans
Small
of beer 'cause you
cans,
wouldn't
yeah.
fit 2. Yeah, cans of beer with the Pringles on top, put the Pringles back on top.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think he'd even gone as far to glue the fucking thing to get these cans of beer inside the thing. And then remember, we got inside the stadium and he cracked these beers out and he gave us the Pringles. The mad thing is I'm pretty sure it was at the time when you were just allowed to go and get a beer. Like, it wasn't like, it's only fairly recently that they've outlawed drinking inside, isn't it? I think. So I'm pretty sure he just.
I think you can still drink in.
Still drink.
No, you can't.
Matches?
You can't anymore. You can't drink a beer in the football stadium.
Really?
Yeah, I'm almost certain you can't, and I'm not even a big sports fan.
What is this country?
I definitely had a beer a couple of years ago.
No, I'm almost certain as of now you cannot drink a beer.
Yeah, it must be really recent because after these football games like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
that's gash.
Yeah,
but that same technique I've seen at festivals. People, want to get contraband into a festival.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's quite common to bring bags of snacks and food to a festival. You're camping for 5-6 days or whatever. So people do bring pots of Pringles along with croissants and just like foods to eat around a camp.
Yeah.
And a pan au chocolat. And it is very common for you get a big pot of Pringles. You just take almost all of them out, pop whatever you need in that Pringles pot, bag of whatever, put all the Pringles back on top, and if you put the little flappy bit back down, you can heat it like with like hair straighteners or something. Use hair straighteners to reseal the Pringles pot. In you go. It doesn't even look like it's been opened.
They must get wise to that, surely.
But it's always one of those. How much do they care?
But it's almost like they don't care. What they do is they because they do random search. It's a random search anyway, so you might not even get searched. And then when you do, they look through your bag. They see like a big bag of Starbursts, Pringles, and some pan au chocolat. And what are they going to do? Open your Pringles and pour them out to see what's underneath. It's not going to happen.
That's true.
We was going to a festival and no, not me.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was going to a festival. No, but it was me. And my friend had lent me we were driving in my car, so I had everyone's stuff. I'd packed it. I was like, drop it all off day before, whatever. It's a cunt thing to do, really. I got his tent and I set up his tent in my garden and I put some shit that I wanted to smuggle inside in his inner pocket of his tent, packed it all away, put it inside his tent bag, and then he just obviously walked in with it. But in my head, I was thinking he'll be completely fine about it because, it's like, what's the word?
You can play it cool when you're not lying.
Yeah, like he's just plausible deniability.
Yeah.
So he did just walk straight in, and I waited for him to set his tent up, and I just walked inside and just grabbed it out of the pocket. Like, what are you doing?
That is a dick move.
It's a cunt, isn't it?
That's the third cunt on this episode.
It is, isn't it? I
Curios
don't normally break out the cunts.
And I think we've had the first ever direct cunt as well, where you've directly called Tom a cunt.
I don't know. He might have called me a cunt when I said I'd never eaten a pickled onion. And then now I'm a good cunt for eating one.
That oldest tortoise, by the way, was 255 years old when he died in 2006. It's mad, isn't it?
A madness. That is a madness.
That is old. I hope my dad's tortoise doesn't get old because I'll have to look after it. It's going to get passed down to me or my brothers, so I hope it's not me who has to look after that.
I don't understand about tortoise. Like my dad, again, they had a tortoise in the UK, and he used to say that, like over winter, my granddad would just put it in a box and put it in the garage, and they'd just forget about it for like.
Yeah, apparently that's bollocks, though, isn't it?
So like it would go to sleep, and I was like, well, how do you know it's ready to wake up? And he said, well, eventually you just sort of hear it moving around, like trying to get out of the box. I was like, that could be in there for like several days, like trying to get out of its box.
No, that is. But
it lived,
Yeah, that does happen.
It lived for 70 years like that. So
my dad's tortoise,
it was fine.
Tortoises are really clever, and they are really good at escaping. So my dad's built so many like dens for it in the garden, so he can have his own big space in the garden and not escape. And he'll like push rocks over to the wall and then like scale the wall somehow with his rock. Like they're quite agile for what they look like, and it'll always get to when it's coming up to wintertime. It gets to October, and he'll just be missing. Don't know where he is. Can't find him in his little den. Look all over the garden for him. Can't find him. And then in March, April time, someone will be doing the gardening, and he's just like strolls out. He just comes back. Like he's just. And there's been a couple of times where my dad's doing gardening and finds him buried in the dirt. Like he'll just bury himself in the dirt. Somehow manage to cover himself over, and then just stay there for all of the winter. And my dad will find him sort of too early. Like he's too early to come out of hibernation. So he picks him up. He stays in his shell, and he just puts him like in a in a little box or something. And
So it wasn't bullshit. That's confirmed. Then that's brilliant.
Yeah, clever little fellas, those tortoises.
I wish I could go into hibernation. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Just like, oh fuck this has been a shit winter. I'll just go to sleep for 2 or 3 months.
It's a mad one, isn't it? Yeah. Hibernation.
I was last episode when we recorded the Easter special, I was trying to find stories about resurrection, and I found multiple stories about people who had buried their hamster or was about to throw out their hamster because it had died, but it hadn't died. It's just gone into like a hibernation. So if you keep a hamster in too cold of an environment, so even just like a pretty cold house, they just shut themselves down and go into like a mini hibernation. People always think they're dead, throw them out, and then they come back to life because they're not dead. They just wake up
and
they're resurrected.
It freaks me out for some reason.
Yeah.
Zombie hamsters.
I found a news article about a mouse that got knocked out because it ate. Someone was growing cannabis in their apartment, and it ate a cannabis leaf. And the guy came in. It was just like fucked at the bottom of the cannabis plant, and woke up like half an hour later, and then just went off. Brilliant.
Ate more cheese than he'd ever eaten in his life. Speaking of cheese.
Segue.
We haven't had a segue for a long time.
Yeah. French monks locked down with 2.8 tons of cheese.
That sounds like my dream situation.
And they're praying for buyers. So this... I'll just read what it says instead of trying to reword it. A French monastery in the heart of Burgundy has launched an emergency online sale to get rid of thousands of its artisanal cheeses, which are languishing in its cellars as COVID keeps buyers away. So the Citeaux Abbey, just south of Dijon, birthplace of Cistercian Catholic order.
And the mustard.
Sorry?
And the mustard.
And the mustard. Oh, Dijon mustard. Very good.
Probably is, I guess. No, I don't even think that was a joke. It probably is.
Oh, maybe. Other mustards and Catholic orders are available.
And French towns.
Yes. Usually sells its raw milk, semi-soft discs only to restaurants or visitors to its on-site shop. So usually its main outsource is they sell this really nice cheese to restaurants and of course anyone who wants to visit and buy their special cheeses, but obviously their business has dropped since the crisis erupted. But I guess the nature of cheese is it's not like a product that is manufactured and sold within a very short period of time. You know, you start the whole cheese making process months, maybe years. I don't know how long it takes to make cheese.
Some of them probably, if they're like vintage cheese.
Yeah, so it takes, so it's just kind of built up, I guess. And I assume, like many places, thought that it would only be a short amount of time before they could sell their cheeses again. And obviously, it's been about a year. And it says, but a drop in demand since the coronavirus crisis erupted last year has left the Abbey's 19 Trappist monks with 4,000 cheeses too many and 2.8 ton problem.
Trappist, you were right.
Oh, we were talking about... Was that when we were talking about the... what's it?
The ones that make
last
beer.
week we were talking about the beer I had, the Trappist. Rochefort or whatever it's called. So that must mean they're like artisanal monks.
Yeah, they make beer and cheese. That's a great job. Come on.
That is, isn't it? Like, them monks have done all right. Especially the ones.
I wonder where that came from. Like, why did they? Was that just to get more money? Do you think they were starting producing something?
Yeah, I thought
to
they
sell,
are selling it. So Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that one? What's that weird one that's supposedly like? It's like a drink that like it's like Scottish, and people just get fucked up on it, and it's supposedly made by monks,
Oh,
and it's like a sort of wine,
Iron Brew.
but it's cheap.
What,
No, but it's cheap as fuck, and like redheads drink it in Scotland. And it's like a famous, like, but also like young kids might drink, you know, it's like, and it's like a bit of a rite of passage to get fucked up on the stuff.
fuck's sake, it's
Yeah.
like on the tip of my
Yeah,
tongue.
you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
That's really annoying me.
This is great podcast
Yeah,
audio. this,
keep
isn't it?
going, Tom.
It says here
Drag that out of
Buckfast.
our heads.
Is that it?
Buckfast, that's it. That is it. Yeah.
That is absolutely not brewed by monks. There's no way that
People,
Buckfast.
mate, it fucking is. It's one of those.
I mean, I
swear
googled
it's
Scottish wine drink monks, and it does
Oh,
say
it was, yeah.
the top thing says
Originally
it says
made by Buckfast. Abbey.
Buckfast has
Yeah.
become associated with hooliganism. So I guess it is strong, right?
Buckfast
Yeah, it was
Abbey,
originally brewed in Devon.
Devon, I was
Buckfast
about to
Abbey.
say, yeah.
There you go.
Tonic wine.
It's become the
Wow.
drink of choice for violent Scottish offenders, some say.
I love it.
Anyway, so there's a good little phrase here from one of the brothers. He says, "We tried explaining to our 75 cows that they needed to produce less milk, but they just don't seem to have understood," said brother Jean-Claude, in charge of marketing at the monastery, which was founded in
Mate,
1098.
he's good at his job, old brother Jean-Claude, because
Oh.
he's come out with that absolute stonker.
Yeah, that's yeah. So their 75 cows are not producing any less milk, so they have 4,000 cheeses too many, and essentially they're just struggling to clear out their stock.
So, just so you know, they're no longer struggling because I've clicked on the website because I was like, oh, I want to buy some. It's all out of stock. So they've sold 2.8 tons of cheese since in 2 days. When did this article go up? 26?
Yesterday,
Fuck off.
yeah.
No way.
So it's gone. I could have ordered some. You can't import
that
fees
would've
now to the.
Oh yeah.
you.
Oh,
You're done.
Fucking hell. All right, no politics.
It says I mean, it seems like it was a pretty good deal. It says the minimum order is 2 wheels at €23 each, plus shipping.
There's 700 gram wheels as well.
Yeah, I wonder what type of cheese was it?
It just says fromage au lait, which means cheese milk, doesn't it? Milky cheese.
Yeah.
Just normal cheese.
Just cheese, innit? It looks like Benedictine monk cheese.
It looks quite nice though. It looks like a lovely semi-hard cheese.
It does, doesn't it?
There's a video of the cheese man, Monsieur Fromage, and he's giving a little tour of the cheese monastery, and he's dressed like a monk, and he looks like one, and but he's just touring around giving a cheese. I did go to play the video, but he's talking French, and the subtitles are also in French. So, je ne parle pas français. Do not know what he's saying. But yeah, that's it. There was a bunch of monks that were all just inundated with cheese, buried by the cheese, and it seems like they've sorted it out. So good on them.
Yeah,
I reckon
in a day.
they've absolutely played this.
Oh yeah.
They've said, we've got all this cheese. We don't know what to... We're doing you a favour by sending it to you for
Yeah.
€22.
Yeah,
each.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
God
this is-
wants
yeah,
you
this
to
is just-
buy this cheese.
What they've done is
God, the
local Lidl had a sale on, and one of the brothers was down there. He was like, look, we could get 2.8 tons of cheese for cheap here, boys.
That'd be great if that was true, wouldn't it? And it's to pay their fucking... Because they were late on their alien tax.
Yep.
So they were overdue on their alien tax. They're like, lads, we need to stock up on something.
I really want to have, like, my dream is to have a like a cellar or like a pantry with massive wheels of cheese in it, like wheels of cheese and then big hams hanging from the ceiling. You know, like you see in like an old Disney film. that's my dream. I don't know why I want a wheel of cheese.
When someone
In
comes
fact,
round, you cut off a slice and you go down. Let's have a slice
Yeah.
of the 18.
Parma ham.
Yeah, of the.
like my uncle brought a Parma ham back, and that he lived in Yorkshire, so we'd only see him probably twice a year or something. But over the course of like 4 years, we'd go up and he'd uncover this Parma ham in his pantry and like cut off the top layer of mould, and then he'd give you like the thinnest slice of Parma ham possible, to enjoy. I mean, it was really nice, but he made it last for fucking years.
Is that okay? Like, is that?
Yeah, no, it's just legit. It's what it was, designed to do. You just sort of leave it, and the top layer insulates it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. Love it.
I like how they called this big cheese sale Operation Fromage. And it says, Operation Fromage is over. There is no cheese left.
Well,
melt.
I'm trying to navigate my way around this website, but again, it's
Operation
all
Fromage
in French.
I was trying to find a segue, but
it looks like they just sell beer and cheese. It's great.
From ancient monks to ancient footprints.
Oh.
Wait.
Not monkey.
Worst segue ever.
A man used giant penguin shoes to pull off the greatest footprint hoax in history.
Yeah,
it's good. I'm gonna share the article because there's a couple of pictures in there that are worth having a look at.
You're not about to tell me that Bigfoot is fake, are you?
No, it's not a Bigfoot hoax. I'll tell you, I'll put it in the WhatsApp so Georgios can see it too. No, this is really good. He's basically made it look like a. I don't know what way. He wasn't trying to make it a giant penguin, right? So basically, right, in February 1948, a resident of Clearwater, Florida, came face to face with something totally unexpected. Walking the beach one morning, he stumbled across a remarkable set of footprints in the sand. The prints were enormous, about 14 inches long and 11 inches wide, and even more remarkably, had 3 toes, tipped with long claws. Florida Fringe Tourism tells the story of the strange tracks which came out of the Gulf of Mexico at the south end of the beach and walked the shore for about 2 miles before returning to the water and disappearing. Given what I read about later on in this article, the fact that it's 2 miles has just stood out to me, and you'll see why in a minute. It's far, right? No one could figure out what made the footprints, but the 4 to 6 foot strides it took showed that whatever it was big. The creature's tracks showed up at the beaches of various Florida towns for about 2 years. It's great, isn't it? Its tracks were seen in towns between Clearwater and Sarasota, earning it the name Old Three Toes. During that time, several people claimed to have spotted the monster. For what else could it be? It was described as a large bird-like thing or a large furry log with a head shaped like a hog's. It's great how people claim to have seen it.
Yeah,
isn't it? Like,
I love that description. It's like it's just a big bird.
Yeah,
thing.
and then people jump on it. It's the reason things like fucking. Like Uri Geller are successful when he says, I've fixed everyone's watches, put your watches to the TV, I'm going to fix your watch. And then people calling it, oh mate, he's fixed my watch, he started working. And like 90% of them are bullshitting. There's a small percentage of them where just because it's a fucking battery and you've just warmed it up, it's just worked and just sheer dumb luck. Anyway, people are pricks, aren't they? People's
Who just want to be involved?
Yeah, they do just want to be strange. People's reactions range from baffled to terrified to sceptical. It was some strange creature from the water. What havoc could it cause if it chose? If it was a hoax, who would go to so much trouble and to what end? The strange tracks came to the attention of Ivan T. Sanderson, a zoologist of some repute, who wrote and commented on scientific issues in New York. Sanderson came to Florida to investigate and spent 3 months studying the tracks and interviewing witnesses. He even dug up one print to take it home. Sanderson was like the Indiana Jones of the zoology world. He made several trips to the African jungle for Cambridge University and the British Museum, which he then used as fodder to write a best-selling book. He was also the person with the term that came up. Also the person who came up with the term cryptozoology. You like that term, didn't you, George? Referring to the pursuit of creatures out of legend, such as the Loch Ness monster. If anyone could crack the mystery of these 3-toed tracks, he believed it was him. But no, he didn't after much extensive research, he determined that the prints couldn't possibly be a hoax. They seemed far too deeply imprinted to have been made by man or machine. He even went so far as to say he'd spotted the creature himself, which is great. He just loves it so much. He said, I've fucking seen it. He described it as being 12 feet long, greyish yellow, and having large arms that resembled flippers. He also said it made big waves when swimming, as if it had a powerful kick. His final conclusion that the creature had to be...
We've all described it as being 12 foot long, mate. You know what I mean?
He concluded it had to be an enormous penguin, as silly as the idea sounded. After that, tracks were spotted a few more times throughout the 50s, but after 1958, there were no more sightings of either prince or giant penguins. 30 years later... 30 fucking years later, in 1988, the mystery was finally solved. That's brilliant. So he just did it and then just never said shit, just whatever. St. Petersburg Times wrote an article stating that old Three Toes was a hoax. A man from Clearwater, Tony Signorini, had confessed that he and a prankster friend had been responsible for leaving the mysterious tracks all those years ago.
Can I just interrupt very briefly? On this article, it says here, there's that photo of the print, and below it says photo by Orgon Research. Orgon Research is what Mr. Dolphin Man was talking about that he underwent when he was younger. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? It's like the same thing.
So he said that orgons were this made up life energy that people believed in, and people were
Why would they have a picture?
Well, I wonder if Orgon Research might just be a company that happens to have that name.
But I mean, it's orgo. How many orgons must there be?
That's true. Isn't it? While you're looking up,
sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. Confessed that he and a prankster friend were responsible. The article's writer went to Sigoni's auto shop to interview him, and while she was there, he showed her a pair of very large cast iron feet with 3 toes. And there's a picture of that, which I'm sure will be up on the screen. You're sitting there with him strapped on.
He looks great.
He looks well happy, doesn't he? According to Signorini, at the instigation of Al Williams, his friend and boss at the time, they created the 30-pound feet. He'd apparently been taken with photos from the Smithsonian magazine, which showed a dinosaur footprint that had been fossilised. After examining the print for a while, Williams came up with the idea to make the feet that matched the prints and have a little fun. It's a sick idea, isn't it? When the 2 feet were complete and had been bolted to a pair of high-top tennis shoes, the 2 men loaded them into a rowboat and went to shallow water not far from shore, where Signorini would put the dino feet on and wade it out of the water. They must have done this in the middle of the night as well, to not be spotted doing it. But you've got to time it right, because they could obviously be washed away. So they must have done it early morning or something. To make the tracks so far apart, Signorini would balance on one foot, swinging the opposite leg back and forth to work up the momentum to make the jump to the other foot. Since each of the metal objects weighed about 30 pounds, the feat took some time and some stamina.
Which you did that for 2 miles?
Yeah, that's what I was on. It was the 2 miles. No fucking way to do that for 2 miles.
Yeah, they must be heavy. Or even if they're not heavy, you're wading through sand and shit.
Yeah, and what a substantial... Well, they said they're heavy. They're 30 pounds.
Cast iron. They can't... Yeah.
How... it takes a reasonable amount of time to walk 2 miles. In general, walking 2 miles, what's that, 10 to 15 minute walk? Maybe more? I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
No, it's further than that.
Be more.
What's the average walking pace?
Further than that. I reckon it's 40 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, 40 minutes. No way. He'd been doing this for 2 hours. For 2 years he did this, every couple of weeks. That's mad.
What a guy.
I mean, what a fucking dude. Apparently occasionally whip him out and tell people. And over time, he was the only major player around to remember. His partner died in 1970. Ivan Sanderson had taken an interest in cryptozoology elsewhere and had been pursuing things. I guess it's the guy that looked him up. Had been pursuing things like Bigfoot and UFOs prior to his own death in 1973. Tony Signorini finally died in 2013. So the other dude died thinking this big penguin was a real thing.
Or he'd seen it.
Yeah, we'd see. Yeah, but he doesn't. Since Jeff inherited he left the fabled feet to his son Jeff. Since Jeff inherited his father's feet, he'd been approached by a couple of historical organisations who wanted to buy them, but he resisted, noting his father wanted to keep them in the family. He was wondering what to do with them, and one of his nieces called dibs. So the family's legacy will remain. There you go.
That is
a great story.
So
it's good, I love the dedication.
I love that when someone pulls a prank, but doesn't care about the recognition for it, or even seeing the full effect of it. Like he goes along the beach, he puts these footprints here, and then he just fucks off. And then he hears about it a week later. People being, did you hear about that massive penguin on the beach?
Yeah, yeah. But it might have taken him a few goes at doing it before he even heard. Especially because like it'd be, you could check social media.
Yeah.
He could have been doing this for like several months before he even heard that anyone was even talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we spoke about this once before when I said about the guy on the boat that takes pictures of his knob. It's like, just doing it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
I wondered.
And 30 years keeping it quiet as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, what was that thing? The fucking monolith.
Well, so I was actually gonna bring this up because I was thinking we need to do something like this. We need to just like the monoliths. I remember I was going to do
one. I was going to do one. I'd messaged my mate. I'd messaged our drummer Melvin about it, and I was like, "Can we do one of those monoliths?" And I was genuinely going to do one. I was going to do one over Fobbing Marshes. I was like, "Let's go and do it." I was like thinking about how it was going to work, and then some cunt did one on the beach in Isle of Wight, and said it was owned up to like that being a prank, but it didn't account for any others.
No.
I was like, "Well, you just ruined it now. Why did you come out like a week after you did it?"
Yeah.
And say that you did it, like no one else can do it now.
Yeah, I saw some other. I don't know if it's the same guys or someone else trying to do their own one, and it ended up falling over, and they'd like written their YouTube channel like inside it or something like that, and it was made of like shit plastic with a coating on the outside. It looks shit.
Yeah.
But it would have been such a good marketing thing. Like if you done these big footprints along the beach, everyone thought, fuck, it's Bigfoot, it's a massive penguin, whatever, and like it really takes off, and everyone's wondering who it is, and you can just come out and be like, haha, that was us.
Yeah,
and you can prove
we need to do our own one. The monolith thing was great.
So what happened with the monolith? Like the first one, has it been proved to have been like bullshit?
Yeah, I remember I was saying it must be some marketing thing, right? Like it must be some.
Yeah, we always thought it was going to be a film
marketing
coming out, didn't we? Yeah,
where
it's weird.
Yeah, it is good marketing. Like if it takes off, you put up this big monolith, everyone's wondering, what is this? Just this big reflective metal tower in the middle of, it was in like Utah, national park or something. And then everyone's wondering, then another one pops up and you're like, what the fuck? And then if it came out that it was a product or a company that had done it, that is big attention. It's good. But
yeah, it was good. And it must have been funny for the ones because other people did just do them. If it was just someone doing it for whatever reason, and around the other world someone did one, you'd be like, that's jokes.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, we need to brainstorm.
It's a bit like that Cicada 3. Did you speak about this? I think
it was in
the butterfly thing.
No, but it was in the episode
like stuff
that doesn't
going
exist.
on around the world. Like there was loads of people in on it, doing it at certain times, and
that reminds me.
Shit.
Watch this space. We'll talk about it offline. But there's someone I want to talk about.
Whoa.
Fucking hell, you can't tease people.
Yeah, I know. It will come up in an episode, but it might be a special of its own.
Well, tune in for sometime in the future, possibly.
when we speak about something, or may not speak about
or may not speak about it because it might be shit.
One other thing I want to bring up just before we do wrap up is this book that Rob got me just before I left for Holland. Well, actually, I think you bought it for yourself, didn't you? And then you decided to donate it to me.
Yeah, well, I looked because I bought it when I was reading an article, and as I got it, I was like, this is just like exactly like those books that you always talk about you read in the library and stuff. So
yeah, so this is, I'll hold it up to the proper camera. So yeah, this is the sort of shit that I used to read in the library when I was younger. But this is really, really good. It's
for everyone who's
focused on Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was about to say for everyone who's not looking at the camera,
Yeah, so it's called the W Files: True Reports of Wisconsin's Unexplained Phenomena, and then it's got like some classics in there: Bigfoot, UFOs. Got the pancake story from was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago.
From Inevitable Vegan Future.
The vegan pancakes. It's just a classic. I mean, one thing that did happen in this is one of the stories I got really into, which was about an American Atlantis, about this race of people that were fueling the Bronze Age in Europe. So there was like evidence of transatlantic trade, obviously thousands of years ago before it was discovered or whatever. I was getting well into it, like fucking yeah, this makes sense. I'd read a few things about it before, I was like, yeah, mate, that looks really good. Like, looks up online. Like, there's all this evidence of this civilization in this area. And in this book, quotes a guy who's written a few books about that specific subject. And I shared it with one of my friends, and he replied saying, "Oh, well, this guy shared a Wikipedia page," and I opened it up, and it was the guy that had written not this book, but this book that this theory was based on. And the guy was a nonce and the Nazi leader of America. So instantly, that theory, in my mind, has to be discredited, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of a tease, this book. You know, I didn't expect to be reading about nonces.
Yeah.
Well, when I opened it, I didn't think there's going to be a nonce in here somewhere.
A Nazi nonce.
A Nazi nonce. But there was.
A Nazi.
But yeah, so I'll probably bring up something from this book at some point.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
that's loads of content there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Before
Maybe
we
I'll
wrap
write one
up,
about Essex.
I would like to appeal to all of our listeners. If you are listening and you haven't left a review, at least just give us some stars, preferably 5. But whatever platform you're listening on, if you've made it this far, then there must be something in it worth giving us a star for. So
Hype.
if you could chuck us 5 stars on your podcast listening application of choice, that would be great. That would help us out a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get us algorithmed.
Yeah.
Cheers, bromos.
Right. Well, we'll be next. We'll be back next week.
Yes.
Probably with
Yes.
another weird news, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe
Maybe
a
a
special.
special.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We haven't done a special. We did the Easter special.
Maybe a
didn't we?
Dutch
But-
special.
Hey,
Maybe a Dutch special.
Yeah, we all come
we could do a
speaking Dutch.
special.
I know, we have to do it when we're in Holland.
Maybe I'll get Lynn on it.
Oh.
Oh,
Imagine that.
special guest.
Novel. All right.
There'll be no swearing in that one, though, boys.
Language.
All right.
Right. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Bye.